Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're going to be making my chicken tortilla soup. And this is great comfort food. And what's so easy about this recipe is that you just have to buy most of it as cans that are going to be putting in canned tomatoes and canned Rotel, a little bit of Chipotle Pepper. But let's show the ingredients now so you'll know what you need to get ahead of time. And I know there's a lot of tortilla soups out there, but I have devised my own recipe because I have tried several. And honestly, this is my favorite. So I hope you enjoy it too. So let's go over the ingredients right now. We are going to be adding, these are the things that are going to start out. We're going to be sauteing. I put like 5 garlics in here because I think the more garlic the better. And about a cup of onion, just a medium or large onion, however much you like to put in. I have 2 cups right now, but we need at least 3 cups or even more of chicken broth, depending on if you like it thicker or thinner. So you can decide how you want. We're going to be putting my famous Mexican seasoning in there because it just adds so much flavor to anything Mexican, plus a little bit of chili powder and cumin as well. We've got black beans, a can of those, and then we have one of my favorite things in the whole world is Rotel, diced green tomatoes and chilies, and then I just have some regular tomatoes, chopped tomatoes in 2 cans, 28 ounces of that. These are 2 14-ounce cans, so that equals 28. Something that makes it really smooth and nice is a can of tomato soup. I'm going to be putting in a Chipotle Pepper and adobe sauce, okay? This is going to give it a lot of zip. And depending on how hot you like your soup, I'm only putting in 1 because most people don't like it too hot. It just depends on how hot this pepper is. So put in only 1 first and then decide later. Some people like corn or don't like corn, but it just adds another little bit of texture to it. And then what I did was I just bought a rotisserie chicken, and it has very, very moist meat, and you don't want to put that into the very last while it's simmering a little bit because you don't want to overcook this chicken. It's already moist and delicious. So almost everything here you're going to throw in last, and then I don't have it out of my fridge yet, but we're going to be adding some cheddar cheese too. And then I'll be showing you some of the toppings you can put on the soup when you're finished. Oh, and here, I've already made these ahead of time. These are just deep fat fried tortilla strips that I've made, and you crunch these on top of the soup. That's why you can call it tortilla soup. We are actually putting tortillas in the soup. Okay, but the texture of that with all the other ingredients, you die and go to heaven. It is so dang good if you like tortilla soup. Okay, and if you don't like it or have never tried it, this is the first one. Okay, I'm now sauteing. I'm putting in my onions and garlic. And I'm just sauteing this in a little bit of olive oil and butter. And I'm going to go ahead and add, now the recipe calls for red and orange or red and yellow, and I don't have a red one, so I'm just doing my orange and yellow peppers. Those are sweet peppers. Usually you can buy them in the store in multiple packs, so you have red, yellow, and green, and that's the way I like it because I put this in so many of my recipes. I'm going to turn this up here a little bit. Add a little bit more of olive oil. And what I like to do is, while this is sauteing, I like to what they call sweat your spices. And this actually brings out the flavor of your spices in the soup. So while this is sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and measure out a tablespoon of my Mexican seasoning, and I will put this in the recipe below as well as the tortilla recipe in case you haven't seen my other Mexican food like my salsa and everything like that. I put this seasoning in almost everything I make, and if you look through my thread that I've made of Mexican food, they all have this seasoning. So you want to get the ingredients for this and have this on hand for all the Mexican food. It just adds so much more flavor. Okay, I'm going to add a tablespoon of that in here. And they call it sweat. So I'm going to sweat that along with a teaspoon of chili powder. By the way, that seasoning does not have any chili powder in it, and that's why we're going to have to add some here. So a teaspoon of chili powder and another teaspoon of cumin. That's another Mexican spice. Okay, we're adding just a little bit more of that. And then salt and pepper to taste. You're going to need at least a teaspoon of salt and probably a half a teaspoon of pepper. We've got all of our spices in here with our onions, garlic, and peppers. And you're going to want a big pot like this to put it in. And if there's a small group of you that you're just making, and you honestly don't think that you're going to eat the whole thing during the week, you can half this recipe and you'll do just fine. But if you're going to go to the trouble to get all of this put together, you really should make it all and either share it with friends or save it for this week, and you can freeze it as well. Okay, I've been sauteing this for about a minute or two. You don't want to overdo it because this is going to simmer for a while with all the ingredients. So you can see all the spices are sweated in here with the peppers and onions and garlic. So now I'm going to add all the ingredients. I'm going to add the Rotel. And you want to make sure you use all the juices and everything. This adds more liquid to the mixture. This is a great thing to feed a crowd, or if you need to bring something to a potluck, because people love the taste. And then the chippies that go on top, and the cilantro and the sour cream, all of it makes a really special soup. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of my chicken broth, and I'm going to put another cup in too because I know I'm going to need it. You know, this is a great recipe to have if you are planning food storage or things that you want to have a lot of. It's nutritious with the tomatoes and the peppers. You can keep a lot of these things on hand, or can them, or dehydrate them so that you have them ready and on hand to make in case you can't get to a store. So this is a great food storage soup, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and add the beans in right now. And if you want to, you can add more or less of the chicken broth too if you need it. I'm going to go ahead and chop up one of these chipotles right here. You can see what it looks like out of the can. Basically, a chipotle is a jalapeno pepper that's been in adobe sauce. So that's why it's hot. You don't have to worry about touching it or anything, but you can see the seeds coming out there. I'm probably going to put 2 in there because they're kind of small. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add this over here with this tablespoon. Now, I don't want to put the chicken in till last. Okay, this is going to give the soup a lot of yummy, yummy flavor. You want that to break down. Okay, and now I'm going to add, this is just frozen corn, and of course it will cook up into the soup too, because you're going to let this simmer for about half an hour to an hour just to give it, all the flavors will meld together. But you can pretty much make this in just a few minutes for dinner. Let it simmer for maybe 15-20 minutes while you're gathering everybody together. Okay, at the last minute, you're going to want to add about a cup or 2 of cheese right here, and then you're also going to want to put some of this cheese on top. And I'm not going to add this chicken in. Well, actually I am, because it's only going to simmer maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of my chicken pieces in. And the amounts here are all like to your preference. More chicken, less chicken. I showed you how in one of my other enchilada recipes, how to make your own roasted chicken breast. It's very inexpensive, and it makes a very moist, delicious chicken to put in any soups or casseroles or anything like that, or salads that you want to make. Okay, you can see this is kind of thick. I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth. So up to about 4 cups then. It's very nice and thick. Okay, we're going to put the lid on here and let this simmer in a little while, and then we're going to show you how you put the whole thing together to make a really nice presentation where it looks very yummy to eat. Okay, I finished simmering our taco soup, tortilla soup, and honestly I just taste tested it to make sure the seasonings were right, and they were perfect, just the perfect amount of spicy and sweet. It's just really good. I threw a little bit of lime juice in here because I like to do that, and everything that I make that is Mexican. And some of the things that we're going to put on top of our soup, let me just show you real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and dish this soup up right here. You can see it's just chock full of so many great things. Okay, and then I'm gonna put, we have here some cheese. Cheese is probably the main thing you want to put on top of here. And just to cut a little bit of the spice, I like to put a little bit of sour cream right in the middle. And if you have avocados on hand, that is a nice little touch as well. And maybe a few olives, just for color and for flavor. And just a little sprinkle of cilantro. And of course, the really, really fun topping that goes on here is my homemade tortilla, fried tortilla strips go right on top. And it's ready to go. Hope you enjoy this soup and let me know how you like it.